On this week's episode of BJ in the Morning, we're talking about the movie that Ridley Scott said everyone hated because they're on their phones too much. And that's The Last Duel. Welcome back to BJ in the Morning, your favorite Dirty Name podcast that puts nostalgia to the test with rewatches and first-time watches. And we see what holds up. My name's Brendan.
And I'm Juan.
And this week, finishing out the year 2021, we're talking about Ridley Scott's The Last Duel.
Yeah.
The Last Duel. Had you seen this movie or heard about this movie before we picked it?
Not at all.
Me either.
I didn't even see a trailer.
I don't think so.
I haven't heard anybody talk about it.
I didn't know who was in it.
I haven't seen it on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, nothing.
Nothing. Not a single thing. You know what you can see on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all that stuff? Us.
BJ in the Morning podcast / BJ in the Morning _.
Yeah. So like on YouTube, you can find us at
BJ in the Morning podcast.
And on Instagram, it's
BJ in the Morning _.
And on TikTok,
BJ in the Morning podcast.
It's all different now. Shit.
And
if you're listening.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. You want to
go ahead?
Are we going to have a duel?
Not for the last time, though.
If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, go ahead and leave us a 5-star review. We've had a lot of new people come into the show, and we want to say thank you by reading some of your comments and reviews. So leave us a 5-star. We'll read it out. And then, if you're on Spotify, you can do the same.
Right.
Leave a comment. We respond to all the comments. We love reading the comments. Last week, our movie that we watched was Spider-Man No Way Home.
Mm-hmm.
Hell of a time.
Mm-hmm.
This movie, totally different vibes. What a fucking movie.
Yes, that movie was definitely not what I was expecting.
Not at all.
But I remember before we watched the movie, we watched the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And the trailer was epic.
Yeah, I remember saying to you too when we watched the trailer, I'm like, this looks fucking badass.
And how have we not seen anything about this movie with a trailer like that?
Yeah, you know why? We're on our phones too much.
Sure.
That's what Ridley Scott said.
Sure.
That's why this movie didn't make any money. Because all of us youngsters are on our phones too much.
I mean...
Why did I make Sir Ridley Scott sound like Southern? We're all on our phones too much.
We're all on our phones too much. But...
That was good.
I think, honestly, though, it was the marketing.
Mm-hmm. Because
I can sit down and watch a movie and not look at my phone.
Yeah.
Never knew anything about this movie until we were doing this movie for the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So... is it a marketing issue? Maybe. Because phones don't stop you from going to the movies.
No, they usually help.
Yeah.
And that's where our sponsor... I'm just kidding.
People...
I can say our sponsor, Movie Phone.
Yeah. So if it depends on the context, right? So if it flopped because people didn't like it,
right,
it could be because people are on their phones too much.
But I don't think it's that, because the box office says nobody even went.
If it flopped because of box office sales, then that's a load of shit.
Yeah. So why don't we talk about the movie, see what could have caused the flop, and see if we agree with the flop.
Okay.
So let's get into the details, as brought to you by
IMDb.
The log line for The Last Duel from 2021, which has a runtime of 2 hours and 32 minutes. And let me tell you what, Juan, I felt like 45 minutes of this movie. Like, I felt it. I was like, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Just if that's a little teaser for how I feel about the movie. Because again, for all the new listeners, when it comes to a movie we haven't seen, we don't talk about it before we talk about it on the show. At all. So I don't know if Juan liked it. He doesn't know if I liked it. Mm-hmm. We're going to find that out together with you, the listeners.
Yeah.
The Last Duel. The synopsis on IMDb is: John must settle a dispute over his wife, Marguerite, by challenging his former friend to a duel to the death. It's pretty much sums up the movie for you. And it's got a 7.3 on IMDb, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
You want to know what the Metascore is?
8.
67. The cast in this movie. What a cast, my guy.
Yeah.
This is a weird cast for this time period, I think. Some of these people really fit in. A lot of these people do not fucking fit in. Matt Damon stars as
Carouge.
Adam Driver as Jacques Legris, Jodie Comer as Marguerite, Ben Affleck's in this movie as Pierre, and Alex Lothar as King Charles.
Fun fact.
You're dropping fun facts right now?
Yeah, I have to.
You
Sorry.
have to. Okay.
Jean de Carew, this is based off of real people.
We got. I knew that going into this. Did you know before right this second?
I did not.
Oh,
I did not.
It says at the beginning.
I mean, not before right this second. Before I watched the movie. Okay. But like, it's interesting to see. Who knows how accurate this movie could be, right?
Right.
But it's still interesting as fuck to see a portrayal of these times. Like when we watched Master and Commander, it was interesting to see
just the period,
the fact that these people existed.
Right.
The fact that the way they did things is not the way we do things now.
Right.
And my fun fact was that it was based off of real people. That was my fun fact.
On the apparent last duel in France.
Fun fact.
Let's get some more fun facts.
Go
Directed
ahead,
by
going.
Ridley Scott. What else has Ridley Scott directed? We didn't do this for Spider-Man, but that's okay. You don't?
Alien.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Also, House of Gucci. Napoleon. Gladiator. Gladiator 2. Writers. This is a fun one. Do you know who wrote this movie? Did you see at the end of the credits who wrote this movie?
No.
Screenplay by Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. This is the first time that they've written a movie together since Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
But they also brought in Nicole Holofenser. It's a tough one. The C comes right after the F. So weird. But they brought in a female's perspective to help write Marguerite a little bit better.
And honestly, dude,
they needed it. Because Ben Affleck and Matt Damon writing for women doesn't sound like a good time.
But she also I mean, I didn't know that, but like I had in my notes how good
Jodie Comer is.
Yeah, how good she is in this movie. How she is portrayed as a strong woman with still being very feminine and wifely for the time being. You know what I mean? So doing her wifely duties.
Yeah, which is
for the time period.
For the time period, yeah. Now it would be.
But she was still a strong woman, and she still stood up to her mother-in-law, and she stood up to the court, and she stood up to
Adam
and
Driver.
we're gonna get into all that, but she stood up
for herself.
And it's like it was written perfectly because of her.
Yeah.
Which I, like I said, didn't know.
Yeah, and I wanted to say before we get into reading reviews and really breaking down the movie and things like that, that this movie does have depictions and it talks a lot about sexual assault. So if that's not something you want to listen to, if you don't want to listen to this movie, that's fine. We'll give you a second while we sit here and twiddle our thumbs. We'll just give you a second to leave the show, go find another episode. Go listen to Spider-Man if you haven't listened to that one. Yeah. The time is going now, by the way. I'm stalling.
Disclaimer.
The disclaimer is that this movie could be tough for some listeners. So if you don't want to hear about it, the time is coming to an end right now to find another episode. So let's get into some reviews of this movie. This is an 8 out of 10 from 2021. Great original film that gets better and better the further into it you get. France, late 14th century, and Jean de Courrouge and Jacques Legris are friends, but a series of disagreements has soured their relationship. These animosities are stoked to deadly feud when Courrouge's wife, Marguerite, accuses Legris of sexual assault. When all other avenues of justice are exhausted, Courrouge takes the only option left, a duel to the death. It's a great drama directed by Ridley Scott and written by Damon and Affleck. Ridley Scott's first film as a director was The Duelists in 1977, set during the Napoleonic era. Turns out The Last Duel is very different to The Duelist, and thankfully so. This is an 8 out of 10 from 2021. It's a slow, suspenseful, and enjoyable movie. If you want to watch something that has well-developed characters and plot and will really pull you in, give this a go. I think the strongest thing about this movie is the storytelling, which is very mature, thoughtful, and well-paced. It turns what would otherwise be another medieval action flick into an engrossing study about injustices, conflict, and how human beings relate with each other. A masterpiece of storytelling through the unreliable narrator. This one's from 2021 as well. This is a story of the same events told through different viewpoints. And with each viewpoint, you're going to notice major differences as well as subtle ones. It's a perfect example of how unreliable people are when they tell their side of the story. How people both intentionally and unintentionally chose to change and omit important parts of it, and how everyone remembers things differently. 7 out of 10. I'm just going to read the title of this one. Jodie Comer stole the show. And then there was a 6 out of 10 that just said way too long. But we're going to head on over to where the ruffians hang out. The Letterboxd reviews for all the grimy street dwellers of medieval times.
I don't even have anything witty to say right now.
Nothing comes to mind. It's got a 3.7 over on Letterboxd. So here's some reviews. 4 out of 5. How did Ben Affleck outshine Matt Damon? Fucking how? 3.5 stars. Boston was wild in the 1300s. 3.5. Mixing the epic with the intimate. Ridley Scott's handsomely mounted The Last Duel tells its true story from 3 different perspectives. Gets progressively better as new layers are added to the story. Jodie Comer dominates the final and best act. Dramatically effective sound work throughout, and the editing can feel lethargic, and some cuts are jarring as the film skips scene to scene. However, the costumes, cinematography, and battle scenes are well crafted, with the final duel being a highlight as the film's runtime and character-driven story give it a ton of emotional stakes. 1.5 stars. Jodie Comer's back must hurt from the colossal weight of carrying this movie single-handedly. 3.5 stars. I don't know what's more disturbing, blonde Ben Affleck or Matt Damon with a mullet.
I know.
And then the last one, 5 stars. She never married again. Good for her.
Good for
her. And that is our roundup of reviews for The Last Duel. And now we're going to go and read some of the important moments of this movie, throw in some interjections, and then we'll get to our review.
And spin the wheel.
Oh, we're going to spin the wheel today?
We have to spin the wheel today.
Fuck. The important shit that happened in this movie happened 3 times.
Yes.
Right? So we're gonna chalk it up to just going over it once. For all 3 times. Because the way the movie starts is chapter 1. And it's Carouge's point of view. His truth. And then it goes to Legree's truth. And then the final one is Marguerite's truth.
So essentially, we're in court.
Yeah, that's where we open.
And they are giving their case. Each one of them. So we start with chapter 1.
Right. So
Jean de Carouge.
Carouge's.
He. So when this movie opens, right, we see super fast scenes, and at first I was a little confused.
Right.
I'm sorry, we haven't opened yet, right? But I just want to put this out there. I was a little confused until we got to chapter 2, and I was like, oh, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're kind of filling in the pieces as we go to see what the truth is. Now, I have a thought on the truth, and we'll get to that at the end.
Awesome. And I did want to point out that we kind of talked a little bit more off the pod about talking more about the movies we haven't seen and what we expected from them. So like we said earlier, we watched the trailer for this movie, and we kind of discussed, you and me off camera, if we should watch the trailer for like a video on YouTube or Instagram or something like that, just to get our first impressions. But also we should just talk about our thoughts before watching the movie, before we break down the whole movie, right? So did you have any expectations going into this?
I was thinking about seeing, my expectations for this movie was we were going to see just medieval battles. Battle of the houses, I don't know, people battling for the throne. I never knew the story of The Last Duel in France, so that's just what I was expecting. We saw a lot of cool fight scenes in the trailer, a lot of drama that could have happened, which it did, but not what I was expecting. That's just what I thought. I was going to be a really cool medieval battle, you know? And what about you? What were your expectations?
So I kind of expected, based on the trailer, that The Last Duel was going to be like an action-packed mystery type of movie. It's what the trailer was really portraying, was that there was something happened that because we don't know the names of people in the trailer, right? So it was, the woman was attacked in her house, or in her residence, by someone. And the trailer kind of made it seem like it was either Matt Damon's character or Adam Driver's character. So we were going to get something like that. But also I was nervous about Matt Damon and Ben Affleck being in a medieval era movie, because they look so much like modern day actors.
People.
They don't fit the vibe. And I also don't think Adam Driver really fits the vibe. The goatee seems a little weird for the time period. I do know that Matt Damon struggled to grow facial hair for this movie, so he had a fake beard on the whole time. And at the end of every shoot, they had to ice his face down because it was so itchy and shit. And I honestly couldn't tell during the movie that it was a fake beard.
Yeah.
But I do think that I never heard of this movie before we watched the trailer, before we saw it on the list. So I don't really have anything to say about the reputation of this movie. I've learned more about it now that we've watched it, but we both hadn't heard about this movie whatsoever, right? You know, before we jump into the plot, I was really curious about how Matt Damon and Ben Affleck were going to fit into this movie. It was something that kind of caught me off guard and I was worried about. I was hoping for an Adam Driver screaming scene, because he seems to like kind of throw a fit or a temper tantrum in every movie, and we might have got it. We might have got it kind of
happens
at the very end. And then I wanted to know why this movie slipped through the cracks, and why it didn't make a bigger splash, and why we'd never heard of it. Those were things that I was thinking about before the start of the movie.
I had those expectations of action-packed medieval war, and I just kind of went into that with that mindset. Like, I didn't really think about anything else. You know what I mean?
You're not going to get it. So let's start this off. Like I said, we're going to go through it one time. We're not going to do the three different times, because most of it is accurate, like the one time, right?
And we can just go through it, and then
we'll get to the end, how we thought about it. Since we've never seen this movie before, and we both watched it one time now, right? So this is the first time viewing, first time watch, one time watch. So at the start, The Last Duel, Jean and Jacques start as allies but become rivals. So Knight, Carouge, and Squire Legris begin as friends and soldiers fighting for France. We do see in these scenes, they're really, really quick battle scenes, like just the start of a battle.
We don't see them fight that much.
The first two chapters start the same because these two guys are in the same place. So from Carouge's point of view, he's the one that's the badass going and fighting and starting the wars. And on Legris' side, he's the one doing it, right? So the two guys' stories are pissing matches. Like, the entire time, the entire story, they're trying to one-up each other and make each other seem better than the other one. They have a rivalry as friends, which friends have from time to time, especially like, I bet in this time period, like, they're going to have a rivalry somewhat, you know, especially being knights and squires and rushing out to battle. But over time, Legris gains favor with the Count Pierre, played by Ben Affleck, and Jean Carouge feels repeatedly looked over and cheated. And I want to point out that Matt Damon is a whiny bitch in this movie. He does not take accountability for anything that he does. He blames everyone else all the time. Sometimes it's granted. Sometimes he should be throwing fits.
Well, he also feels like he's owed these positions of power, right? His dad is the captain, and he's owed that position because his dad was the captain for years and years.
But Count Pierre sees Legris as someone smarter, someone more attractive, and someone who's more willing to do whatever he says and go with the flow. Whereas like Carouge is more, I know what I need to do. I have the nobility. I'm going to be captain. I'm going to do my captain duties. I'm going to get a wife and bear children so we can continue the lineage. Whereas like Legris is more like exactly what Pierre is, you know? So it's a problem, and it slowly turns their friendship into more of like resentment of each other over the status, the land, and the power.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point in time, do you think Carouge was wronged by Legree?
I think there is an intent to what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Pierre has a plan for Carouge,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not necessarily good.
Yeah, I don't think it is at all. Based on the when he goes to like pay his respects and kiss his ring, he says closer.
Yeah.
I don't think he likes him at all. I don't think he ever has.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think a lot of this stuff is very intentional. I don't think it's intentional on Jacques' side. I think for his character, Adam Driver, I think it's him just moving up and getting what he needs.
But do you think it's weird that he's getting
the Percy Weasley of the movie?
Do you think he's getting everything that like Carouge wants though? Because he is.
Yeah, he is, and he knows it, and like it is fucked up of him because that's his best friend, and he knows that's his life goal.
Yeah,
but he's moving up,
right? So that's all he sees.
So that's all he sees is I'm benefiting from being close with Pierre. I'm benefiting from
getting in these orgies with Pierre,
being and being the badass that I am.
Yeah, because he's conventionally attractive. He's younger. Like Carouge is like 50 in this, right?
Yeah, and he's rough around the edges.
Yeah, definitely, and he looks like fucking Theo Von, and it takes me out of the movie the entire time. Matt Damon, why?
Yeah.
So after this though, Jean marries Marguerite, played by Jodie Comer, whose family connections bring valuable land into the marriage. Marguerite is intelligent. She is very smart. She's very good with the duties of being like the wife of a knight who's in charge of this like compound, right?
And when
of
he's
these
gone,
houses.
you can see that she's doing an amazing job kind of keeping everything together, running the land, making the calls.
But all the men who are in power treat her like property the entire movie, which is kind of fucked up because she definitely is like, I don't know, the best part of Carouge at this point. But she's also a good wife to him.
Yeah.
She wants to bear children to keep their lineage going. She gets upset that she's not conceiving. I love the science of this movie where you have to orgasm to have a kid.
Yeah, I was gonna get into that one, and I
We
will.
can
I
later,
will
yeah.
get into that at the end.
But the land disputes between Jean and Jacques makes tensions worse because Pierre is demanding more rents from all these lords, right? And from the father of Marguerite, he demands the piece of land that was part of the dowry for the Carouge's wedding, right? So he takes that land from Marguerite's family and gives it to fucking Legree, right?
Yes.
Which causes a lot of fucking problems. He is pissed. And so when he is boosted up from being a squire, he's not taken serious because everything that he's wanted has been taken from him, right?
Yeah.
But this is when the story kind of takes a dark turn, right? So Carouge is off doing his nightly duties, right? And that's nightly with a K. So he's off fighting in Scotland and everything like that. And then he's got to go to France to get some money that's owed to him. And he leaves Marguerite home and with his mother, who then leaves and takes all the servants. And while she's home alone, Legree's comes and assaults her inside their home.
I'm surprised he didn't like beat the shit out of his mom at that point because there were specific instructions that she is not to be alone.
And I'll talk about something that I thought of in that moment.
And I feel like for the time, like he would have shunned her or probably beat her or do something to punish her for causing this to happen. But like, is the mom in on this?
That's what I was gonna say.
Is the mom?
That's what I was gonna say. Because she doesn't like Marguerite at all.
She doesn't like Marguerite, and then she says, and she knows that she's not to be left alone, and she says, Jean said, "I'm not to be alone, and I need at least one servant," and she's like, keep going. Go ahead. Let's go.
Yeah. And leaves her alone.
Mm-hmm.
This is like when the 3-part structure really takes in, you need to take it in stride, like into more than stride. It needs to be the full force. You need to be paying attention. So when we get to the end of Carouge's part, we see that his truth is that Legris took everything from him that he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Pierre hates him. He is not treated like nobility because he is knighted. Yeah, so Legris does not call him sir, even though he's still a squire, Legris,
Mm-hmm.
right? His wife, they get married and they seem pretty good together in his truth, right? Like they take care of each other. She's really good with taking care of the estates while he is away. He seems pretty pissed off, but when they reconnect, him and Legris later on, he seems pretty accepting of the, like, let bygones be bygones and just kind of move forward and be friends again. He kind of picks up on Legris flirting with Marguerite, but not so much as Marguerite's side of the story later. And even in Legris' truth, he talks about it a lot more too, but makes it seem like she was flirting back.
She came on to him.
Right. When we get to like Jacques' story, Legris' story, I want to point this out now because it'll come back during the assault. Unfortunately, they line up with the battle at the beginning, and the fights over land and everything seems pretty much the same. But when it comes to them reconnecting as friends, it's a lot more of Jacques flirting and getting his way. But we also see when he's with Pierre that Pierre is unfaithful, even though he's supposed to be a man of God. He's unfaithful to his pregnant wife, who has the worst fake pregnancy belly I've ever seen in a fucking movie. It looks like she's just got a pillow under her dress. I'm not kidding. I don't know if you saw it, but it's bad, dude. She doesn't look pregnant whatsoever. Like, it looks fake. But he is the most, like, he's the quickest to cheat on his wife, Pierre.
Yeah.
And he is constantly bringing women into his room and getting them drunk. And it kind of reminded me of Eyes Wide Shut in this moment where they're in this room and all these men are drinking and there's all these half naked women and they're just passing them around to each other. And Jacques does this thing where he chases the girl around the room and makes it seem playful that she's fighting back, in quotes. And he recreates that same exact story when he tells about the assault in his head. That it was playful, that they were chasing each other, but everything that he did in that room with Pierre and all those rich dudes, they were all drinking. He says it's exactly how it happened later too.
Yeah.
Which is why I know his truth, in quotes, is not his truth.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not true whatsoever.
He's defending to get out of it.
Because he's saying, oh, this happens all the time. Like any fucking guy accused of assault, right?
Right.
Like, she was asking for it. She was there. Like,
right.
It happens all the time because I'm so good looking and get what I want.
And the scene where Marguerite comes to Legris, she comes on to him and she kisses him, and then at night
doesn't happen in any of the other stories.
Exactly, and it's added in there.
Yeah.
One thing I do need to say though, in Carouge's story, he's a loving husband. He's nice to her.
Right.
He is
thoughtful and caring,
and sympathetic for her situation at the end.
Yeah.
But then we get to Marguerite's story.
It's not that way at all.
And he's a dick.
Yeah, like as soon as she tells him of the assault, he says, well, I'm not going to let him be the last man inside of you. And I was like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
This is disgusting.
Yeah.
And the way that he responded was with anger. Like, are you telling the truth?
So like in his story, he treats her like a partner, as a wife. And then in her story, he's treating her how all the other men treat all the other women.
Right. Which
like
is
property. Yeah.
Let's get to the trial.
Okay.
So Marguerite's accusation becomes a public scandal because in this time period, women do not accuse men of doing this. And their theory or their way to disprove her is that if she had pleasure, then it was not an assault.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous and disgusting. And we also find out during the trial that she is now pregnant. They start accusing her that, well, you can only conceive if you have an orgasm. So you must have enjoyed it if you're pregnant because that baby's the same age as the assault.
Mm-hmm.
But the court treats the case less like an investigation of a crime and more determining ownership and honor and male reputation, because no one is taking her side. Even her best friend sides against her.
Yeah.
And starts telling the court about how she once said that that Legrees was attractive.
Mm-hmm.
Even though her story, she doesn't really say that.
She also multiple times has brought up that she's with her husband and she loves her husband.
Yeah, in her story and in Carrouge's story. She is faithful to him regardless.
Through and through, yep.
Even if he treats her like shit in real life, she's still there for him because it's her wifely duties. If Carrouge loses the duel, that was a lot of is. If Carrouge loses the duel. Say that 5 times fast.
Carrouge loses the duel. Carrouge loses the duel. Carrouge loses the duel. Carrouge loses the duel. Carrouge loses the duel.
Good job. If he loses the duel, then Marguerite will face execution for false accusations. And they basically tell her, you better be telling the truth or we are going to string you up naked in the center of town and burn you at the stake. And she still says it was an assault.
Yeah.
But the system itself becomes like the villain. And you can see that with the king. He's a kid, right? And during this time period, he's like 19, the king. And he just is ready for blood. And he
wants to see the last duel.
Yeah, and you can see though the queen is disgusted. She believes Marguerite 100%, but she's just the queen. Carrouge challenges Legrees to trial by combat during the trial, which I fucking hated Adam Driver in this scene because he's like flinging his fucking his cape around.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, he's putting
the glove, and he's like,
he's such a showman, and it's Adam Driver is great in this. I fucking hate him. You know what I mean? Like he's
as
too
we
good.
Should.
He's too good as the villain. Carrouge is kind of scared that the baby that Marguerite's carrying is not his. And I think that's why he gets so angry with her. He keeps talking about how he's putting his life on the line for her and not having any compassion for the fact that if he dies, she will also be killed. But they did wait for her to have the baby before the duel.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't kill the baby, which good for them.
Great.
Good for them. But she's concerned about the baby being an orphan, and he's only concerned about losing the duel. He's not concerned about her or the baby whatsoever, which I think is fucked.
Yeah.
The duel is very brutal. I think we see a lot of quick flashes of battles throughout. And I think a lot of that is because they're stylizing this movie as a retelling of people's memories. Do you think you would remember the entire fight? You would remember the beginning and then afterwards, probably, right? With all the adrenaline and the endorphins running.
Yeah.
The fight scenes, though, the little bits that we get are so insanely brutal that I wanted more.
Yeah. And I think it's intentional to keep them short because of
we see
the
him
payoff.
3 times. We see him twice.
Well, that, and also there's a payoff at the end when you see the whole fight between the two, which is what the whole movie's about.
It's a tease.
It's a tease.
It's a tease to the duel.
To how brutal it could be. One thing that is interesting to me, it's all in God's hands. God won't let if you're telling the truth, God won't let this go through. You know what I mean? Also, the pregnancy thing and all that too. Like, was that an actual way of living? Like, did it all happen that way? They don't have technology like us, and they don't have anything that we have. So that's all they had. And they all believed it.
God.
They believed that
they have faith.
Faith and God would protect you in this time.
Yeah, if you're telling the truth.
If you're telling the truth.
During this fight, though, it is very brutal. It is gory. There's a lot of yelling and screaming. This is when we get our little bit of Adam Driver freak out moment when he's trying to say that he did not he did not do this. He's innocent. By this point in time, though, every chapter comes up. It says chapter 1, the truth according to so-and-so. Chapter 2, according to so-and-so, right? The truth according to. But when it gets to Marguerite's, it says the truth according to Marguerite Carrouge. And everything fades off except the words, the truth. The movie is telling us that the truth is what she says. So from that point on until the very end of the movie is true. So it tells you straight up
Who's right?
Who's telling the truth, which is Marguerite. And I think the other reason that you wouldn't even need to put that in there is that she is the only one alive at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So it's her story all the way to the end, right? But despite that, the way that Legris and Carouge fight, they're matched most of the time, right? They're pretty evenly matched.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to point out that this fight is so intense. Like the sound design and the hearing the metal on metal, like everything like that is it feels so real. And the horses interacting with each other. I think the only time that I really hated anything in this fight was when the horse died because it looked so bad.
Mm-hmm.
It was really bad CG. It just felt really out of place. And I know that their armor is not 100% accurate to the time, but most everything else is. The weapons here or there are a little iffy, but the armor knife that he pulls out and stabs him in the leg with was a real thing. It was a small knife designed to get inside the plates of armor so you could stab through. I did not think Carouge was going to win the duel.
Yeah.
But the brutality that they both have on their faces and in their actions is, I could watch that scene again and again and again and again. The entire movie is shot and you feel like you're sitting in the room with these people most of the time, which is difficult to do, especially in the limited spaces they have. And especially that this movie was shot during COVID and they had to take a year off during the production of this movie. But you can't really tell when that happened. You know what I mean? Carouge wins the duel. He's getting all the glory from winning the duel, right? Pierre's pissed. He's fucking pissed that his best bud is dead.
Well, we didn't say how he won the duel.
Oh yeah, should we?
I feel like that's important. It's not important.
It's pretty it's pretty crazy. So it's the knife that he got stabbed with. And he ends up with the knife. Like Carouge.
Yeah.
Right.
And Carouge, they're like
grappling,
wrestling,
right?
you know, and you feel like it could go either way at this point, especially with Carouge is injured from being stabbed and he's gonna bleed out. And Adam Driver or Legris, he's on the bottom half of this fight right now. But you know, with Carouge being injured, it really could go either way. And he's doing a good job stopping the knife from stabbing him.
Yeah.
And then Carouge does this crazy like jujitsu roll and then knees the knife into his mouth.
Yeah.
And it goes out the other side of his head. And you can hear the gargling and you hear him become unalived.
Yeah. He's dead. He's dead.
You hear him die. And it is so powerful, that moment, I think. Because everything led up to this point, and even though we don't like Carouge
or Legris,
we don't like either of them, but we love Marguerite.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Okay, we want her to survive. And that part of the movie is so powerful because we are relieved that she's not going to get executed. We are relieved that she gets to be with her baby.
Yeah.
But then we immediately get Carouge saying, "Come here," you know, like basically treating her like shit again. Still,
and he's getting all the glory, right? Everyone's cheering for him. But the part that almost redeems him, and I'm not going to say it does because it by far does not, but he starts motioning towards her like she's alive. She'll be fine. She was right.
She told the truth.
She's telling the truth. And it's not enough for her though, because she knows that it's fake. That is performance. And you can see that there's a lot of people disappointed with the outcome. You know, like I said, Pierre, but there's other people in the crowd that are just kind of sitting there. They're not cheering. They're not happy. And they both get put on horses, both the Carouges, and they get sent out and they leave through these huge crowds of people
in town,
right in front of Notre Dame that's being built in the background. And he's getting pats on the back and kissing babies and all that stuff. And she's in the background, like, I think her reaction and her face of shock could be misread as, holy shit, I got away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Which for a moment, I thought, like, just based on her reaction, that she was lying and she got away with it.
Mm-hmm.
But the more you sit with it, the more you feel that moment, she is just shocked because she is alive. Because she didn't think she was going to get that far, but she also didn't think she was ever going to be in this position.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that the movie ends and it just says that Carouge went off to fight in the Crusades and died. And that Marguerite stayed in their estate, the one that they got back from Pierre and Legree.
Mm-hmm.
And you just see the baby playing in the garden, and it's a blonde-haired baby.
Mm-hmm.
Which tells you that it was Carouge's baby.
Yeah.
And it says she never got married again. And I think in her story and her truth, that she always was faithful to her husband and was always whatever he needs. But she was so good with his people, like how she treated the stableman, like with the horses,
mm-hmm.
and how she was so kind with the people paying double rent because Carouge never picked up the rent the month before.
Yeah.
And she was kind and, like we said, intelligent. She was very on top of everything. And I think her just being in the garden, and it's green and it's bright. It's the brightest the movie's ever been.
Yeah.
Even though it's in the shade. And you just see the little baby playing in the grass, stumbling and falling over. And
mm-hmm.
it's just such a peaceful ending to this dark fucking movie, man.
Yeah.
That it was wild. And there's a lot going on in this movie. But I think we should just talk about how we felt about it.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about a review and give our numbers. My phone number is... No, I'm just kidding. Do you want to start or you want me to start?
You can start this time. I think I did last time.
The movie is a lot about honor versus truth.
Mm-hmm.
And are they the same thing?
And how often is honor overpowered?
Especially in those moments. Because I think there's a lot of times where, especially in Carouge's story, where his honor misled him because he was trying to be the best knight he could be. He was trying to be captain and he never got any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And his honor was at stake so hard that his wife became at stake.
Right.
Which she should have never been.
Mm-hmm.
I do think when it comes to like my favorite scene of this movie, it's the duel at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But just nothing compares to it. Like at all. The hard part is my least favorite scene. It should be the assault because it is scary to watch. When you watch it from Marguerite's perspective, it is scary to watch. It feels like a horror movie, like she's being chased by a monster, right?
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, anytime Ben Affleck's around, I hate the scene.
He just doesn't fit that role.
I think he fits it better than Matt Damon fits his role. And I do want to point out that Matt Damon was supposed to be Carouge and Ben Affleck was supposed to be Legree.
But is that true?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
This is not honor. This is all truth.
Okay.
But he couldn't because he was tied into another movie. So they got Adam Driver to play Legree and Ben Affleck played Pierre.
Mm.
And I think if Ben Affleck played Legree, it would have been a worse movie.
Mm. And also, Pierre, they modernized his character.
Yeah.
And he was using language that probably didn't even exist back then.
Not in that sense. Not in the sense we know, like dropping fuck and stuff like
C words and he says the C word.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the weakest scene in the movie though is the battle scenes because they offer so much promise and then they never deliver.
Yeah.
The hard part is that they look so good and they feel chaotic, but there's just not enough. There's no payoff. The funniest shit in this movie is the fake baby belly. And I'm gonna pull it up for you because it looks so bad. But my final thoughts before I defend if this movie holds up to nostalgia or if it's just good. That I like that the filmmakers use like a desaturated, cool toned color throughout the entire movie. It made it feel kind of gritty and grim throughout with like the wintry tones of 14th century France.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote all this down, so if it sounds like I'm reading off my phone, it's because I am. Because I wrote it down because I needed to make sure. I want to point out my favorite filmmaking fact about this movie is that they did rely heavily on natural light sources for lighting. So the fireplaces and the candles that are throughout,
Mm-hmm.
those were the light sources for this film. And I think it adds such a tone of realism
Mm-hmm.
where sometimes you don't even see the face of the person that's talking. You just see the silhouette of them.
Yeah.
And it adds to the mystery and the grittiness of the movie overall. And it feels, like I said earlier, you feel like you're sitting in that room with them.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the scenes where there's light coming through the windows, those lights coming through the windows are LED lights on the outside, but the candles and the contrast between the blue sunlight and the red candlelight or fireplace light adds such a dynamic that your brain just clicks to red versus blue is good versus bad,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you're seeing scenes with Carouge and Legree in the same place.
Right.
Matt Damon does not feel right in this role whatsoever. Like I said, he does look exactly like Theo Von, and I fucking hate it. His accent fades in and out almost every fucking word.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what's your accent, bud? Is it Boston? Is it British? Is it Scottish? You're supposed to be in France.
Yeah.
No one has accents in this movie. Not consistently, except for Jodie Comer. Adam Driver just is Adam Driver. Ben Affleck, he's got an accent. It's better than Matt Damon's.
Yeah.
But Matt Damon and Ben Affleck just are modern actors to me. They look like 1990 to now actors.
It's hard to put such big faces in a period piece. Yeah.
But Jodie Comer looks like she was plucked out of this time period.
Mm-hmm.
She looks incredible. She looks gorgeous even when she's being told, when everyone's saying that she's not.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, yeah, she's fine or whatever, but like she looks amazing in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
The like long hair, the super bright blonde, it feels like something out of France in the 14th century.
Yeah.
Her demeanor and cadence and the way that she speaks, she feels confident in herself in this movie. She is a strong woman. She does not need no man, but she chooses, not really, but she chooses to be loyal to Carouge when they marry.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't choose to marry him. She got married off for the land and the money and stuff
Right.
by a traitor to the king, apparently. But she, throughout the movie, is treated like property, but her presence demands that she is treated like a person. And no one truly treats her like a person.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of a single person in this movie that treats her like a human being.
They also lean into it harder because she's such a strong personality in this movie
Mm-hmm.
that it's almost considered as defiance to them.
Yeah, because she seems ahead of her
and
time.
she gets treated worse.
Yeah, because she's like a modern woman in this time period,
Mm-hmm.
right? At least how they portray her in the movie. I think the chapter system makes the mystery of the conflict more complex. Having a traditional narrative timeline from start to finish would probably cause this movie to have more issues.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't be able to pick up on the little changes and differences between each person's story. I do think that the 3-act structure, the 3-chapter structure, makes the movie need to move at a lightning pace where some things get cut out, like the battle scenes, like we've mentioned. We're not allowed to dwell in any moments for too long because we need to get to the next person's story. And I think that hurts the overall tone and feeling of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
The only time you're allowed to sit in a moment and think about what's going on is when Carouge and Marguerite get on the horses and are going through the town until the very end of the movie. That is the only time you're allowed to sit there and think about who is right, who is wrong, what happened, who are you supposed to be rooting for.
Yeah.
The answer is Marguerite, but you don't get to really sit with that until the credits roll.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a problem with the movie, unfortunately. I think everything's well shot and choreographed, and we never see why Carouge and Legree are regarded as such high, like, decorated war heroes.
Mm-hmm.
We never really get to see that until the duel at the end. So that's my thoughts before my final thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Final thoughts. I wrote
Final
a shit
thoughts.
ton. So do you have any anything about
No,
the
I
movie?
think you said a lot of stuff that were in
I'm
my
sorry.
notes.
I didn't read your notes.
It's just funny that we see movies almost the exact same way.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said before, we've been friends for 20 years, of course.
Yeah.
We've talked about movies our entire lives.
We need another person to contrast
What the
everything
heck?
that we say.
Like the lighting, the differences between the indoors and outdoors,
Mm-hmm.
and like when she's telling Carouge that she was assaulted,
It's just that
and it's
fireplace
just
on
that
one side.
fire
Fuck.
lighting, and it's just like you can see the difference too between Carouge's story and Marguerite's story, where it's like Carouge's story is a little bit lighter, a little bit more well lit,
Mm-hmm.
and then Marguerite's story is dimmer.
Mm-hmm.
It's eerier,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like it hits harder because you're like, fuck. Carouge doesn't really give a fuck. He's concerned about what people are going to think of him. He's concerned that he's going to have to go do something that he doesn't want to do.
I think a lot of it's just that he doesn't want his wife to disrupt everything that he's worked for.
Mm-hmm. And his
Even though-
name's going to be...
Even though he has fucking nothing at this point.
Yeah.
Except his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking dumbass.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way this movie is pieced together, it works.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with how fast it was at the beginning, and I was so confused until I realized, oh, it's a 3-piece story
Mm-hmm.
for each person involved.
Mm-hmm.
Then, with how fast chapter 1 was, it was easier to remember Carouge's story versus Legree's story.
Yeah.
And then, and vice versa with Marguerite's story. So I think they did a wonderful job putting this movie together.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful job. And yeah, I mean, like, those are my final thoughts. I agree with everything you said. I didn't hate Matt Damon in this movie. I do think he didn't fit the period,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, I think he was still a good enough actor to portray that he was a shitty dude. You know what I mean? Like,
Hey, Matt Damon, you're really good at
but the
portraying
swap
a shitty dude.
the swap too between like, oh, he's loving and he's nice to her in his
Mhm.
story, but then he's a shitty dude in Marguerite's story, and that shift is not easy,
right.
you know. So
Especially because they like shot everything at the same time with different angles.
probably, yep,
Like no,
Mhm.
like they
did.
yeah.
Mm.
So they just had slightly different camera angles to capture different
Moments.
aspects of the story. You
Yeah.
know, so it's cool. But like, what do you think about this movie? Like, caused it to be a flop?
The marketing.
Yeah.
I think it's solely on marketing because this movie was not a flop.
Right. It was pretty good.
It was not a flop. And with how boring medieval movies can get,
Mm-hmm.
I had no issues with this movie, like, as far as watching it. I didn't get bored. I didn't feel like the need to do anything else. You know what I mean? It's just, I think it's solely on marketing. It could have been COVID,
Mm-hmm.
because COVID did ruin a lot of,
Oh yeah.
you know, movie going. But like I said, it's probably marketing because I didn't hear anything about this movie until last week,
Yeah. Yeah.
2 weeks ago,
2 weeks
whatever
ago,
it was. So,
And that's the joy of this podcast. And maybe you haven't heard about this movie. But I'm gonna try to summarize my verdict. So
let's lighten it up a little bit too, because it's getting a little somber with the with the darkness of this movie.
it's hard to do.
Yeah.
Let me talk shit about Matt Damon then. I'm just kidding. So final verdict, let's give it a yes or no. Does this movie hold up? I know it's only 5 years old, but does it hold up?
I say yes.
I said yes as well. I also wrote a shit ton defending my answer just in case you said no. So I'm just going to read a little bit of it for you. Okay. So this movie was a nonstop ride from the start of each chapter. Chapter 1 telling a story of Matt Damon, who is a weak and damaged man. His friend, played by Adam Driver, is also plagued by weak inhibitions and an unquenchable habit of sexual escapades and drinking. He's clearly a coward in the face of higher power, but a charismatic and intelligent squire who uses that power to convince Pierre to give him everything that his best friend Juan had hoped for and worked for. Juan takes this out on everyone around him, including his new wife, Marguerite.
Mm-hmm.
I think this movie is grim in tone, color, and story. Depicting a world run by wealthy men and women treated like shit, Comer gives a powerful and compelling performance, subtly using her facial expressions and small gestures and quirks to really capture her character. So I do think it holds up. Like I said, we just went over it. I think this movie's pretty damn good. It's not my favorite movie that we've watched on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'll ever want to watch it again,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to take that in consideration.
Mm-hmm.
However, I would probably put on the last part of the movie, just the duel part of the movie, just to look at it because it's so brutal and so crazy. But honestly, this movie is about two fucking dudes measuring their dicks.
Right.
But it's really about like it's Marguerite's story.
Mm-hmm.
She is the driving force of this movie, and everything that happens with both those guys, it doesn't matter when it compares to her.
Right.
She's everything in this. She is so good in this, and her story is so good. Her performance is, you feel it in your soul. Like we were saying, we need to spice this up because this episode's getting sad because the movie is not a happy movie.
Yeah, right.
But if there's one thing that shines in this fucking dark story, it's her performance.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm going to give this movie 7.75.
All right.
You didn't expect me to drop my number right then and right there, huh?
No, I didn't.
7.75 for me. How do you feel?
We basically covered it all with my thoughts on this movie. I gave this movie an 8.
Nice.
But
Matt Damon looking like Theo Von got you fucking pissed.
I'm just going to jump right to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this movie passes the nostalgia check.
No.
I don't see myself watching it again. I don't see myself thinking about this movie very much after today.
Yeah.
And I don't think, like, in 10 years, are we going to think about this movie?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think this movie has a nostalgia factor.
Yeah, I agree. I said a movie holds up. Like, it is a good movie.
It holds up. It's a good
It holds
movie.
up.
Mm-hmm.
But
Go
like-
watch it if you want.
You're right. I've only thought about this movie because I'm trying to remember it so we could talk about it right now. I don't know if I'm going to remember it in a week. After we watch the next movie, when we're going to spin the wheel right now, stick around. I don't know if I'm going to remember this movie after we watch the next movie.
So, nostalgia check?
No.
Failed.
Put a big fucking failed. Boom. So you're giving it an 8? Yeah,
It's an 8.
I draw mine to a 7.75 just because of Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
Got it.
I love them both. They're good in their spots. This is not their spot.
Now it's time. Let's spin the
I
wheel,
wanna spin the
dude.
wheel. You still want the 90s, huh?
Yes.
You still want the 90s.
I always want the 90s.
You always want the 90s. Spinning. Big money, big money, big money. Big money. Big money.
90. 2011 again?
We've already done 2011, haven't we?
We have
What did we watch for 2011?
Jump-
Tinker Tailor Soldier
Tinker
Spy
Tailor
and the
Soldier
Green Hornet.
Wow.
This can be a tough to pick for the next one, huh?
Yeah.
Speed, Crazy Stupid Love. Seen it.
No.
You haven't seen it?
I don't think so.
Drive. Seen it.
Seen it.
Captain America, First Avenger.
Seen it.
Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows.
Seen it.
Seen it. Thor.
Seen it.
Limitless.
Seen it.
Warrior.
Seen it.
Moneyball.
Seen it.
This one's gonna be tough. Should we watch Pirates of the Caribbean sequel? Or another nostalgia one? Super 8.
Ooh.
That could be a fun one.
Ooh.
I have watched it within the last couple of years.
I like it. I like it.
So next week, should we watch Super 8?
Yeah, let's do Super 8.
I remember you and me seeing this movie.
Yeah, together.
In the
theater.
theater.
Yeah.
So fuck it.
Let's do it.
We're watching Super 8 next week.
Super 8.
That's a J.J. Abrams, Steven Spielberg movie.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. So yeah, join us next week. We're going to watch Super 8. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Join us. We'll watch it together. Separately.
For sure.
But this is the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to tell you guys again right now. If you're listening and you made it this far, leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts.
Please.
But also on YouTube, you can watch videos at
BJ in the Morning Podcast.
And if you want to watch clips or like see little pictures or like see anytime we post about how we're going to Tucson Comic Con this September, you should go over to Instagram at
BJ in the Morning _.
And sometimes we post on TikTok at
BJ in the Morning Podcast.
And that's a lot of things that you guys need to follow. So the other option you could do is just go down in the notes below, where you can also find like a way to send us fan mail, send us anonymous text and or voicemails.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also find links to all our social medias down there, which is pretty cool.
For sure.
Yeah. Thanks so much for listening to our episode of The Last Duel. This is the last episode. That one's for Tara. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of BJ in the Morning. My name's Brendan.
And I'm Juan.
And
we'll talk to you next time.